Nice car.
Yeah, it's not mine.
I love your car.
Yeah, it's mine.
This is Joey Tribbiani, struggling actor, the guy who can turn "how you doin'" into an entire personality. Friends plays him as the simple one of the group, all appetite and charm, not much going on underneath. But watch how Joey actually handles every serious relationship across 10 seasons, and a much clearer pattern shows up, one that has nothing to do with being simple at all.
Food. No sex. Food. Sex. Food. I don't know. Oh, God, I want both. I want girls on bread.
Joey has more girlfriends across the show than the rest of the group put together, and somehow ends up more alone than any of them by the end. That's not bad luck. That's what happens when someone builds his whole life around never letting a relationship get close enough to actually risk anything.
Oh my God, what the hell are you doing?
You said you want to come in for some lemonade?
So?
Were you just going to give me lemonade?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm getting into. Why keeping things low stakes with Joey isn't the same as being simple. Why his own family taught him this pattern long before any girlfriend did. Why the one relationship that actually mattered gets treated differently than all the others. And why the show's own ending for him quietly admits the pattern never really got fixed.
So where'd you study?
Oh, I didn't go to college.
No, where'd you study acting?
Ollie, people don't study acting.
Molly, do you mind giving us just a minute?
Sure, I'll go check on Emma.
Thanks.
Will the stable boy never get the princess?
Joey moves through relationships fast, and the show mostly plays it for laughs. New girlfriend almost every episode, gone by the next one, barely any fallout, barely any reason given for why it ended. On the surface, this looks like a guy who just likes variety, easygoing, the opposite of someone like Ross, who turns every relationship into a whole production. It's an easy read, and for most of the show, nobody, including Joey, ever really questions it out loud.
That's a tough combination.
Do you want to come in for some lemonade?
But look closer at what's actually happening. And it's not really about variety. It's about keeping everything shallow enough that losing it never costs him much. Joey rarely lets a relationship get far enough that ending it would actually hurt. He moves on before there's much left to move on from. Watch how fast he bounces back after almost every breakup in the show, usually within the same episode, sometimes within the same scene. That's not the same as being simple. Simple would mean he doesn't think about it much either way. What Joey's doing looks more like a setup, whether he knows it or not, built specifically so things never get close enough to become a real risk.
Don't try to turn this around on me, okay? I am not some kind of social work, okay, that you could just do.
That's worth taking seriously instead of just brushing off as a sitcom running through guest stars. Someone who keeps things from getting serious over and over for 10 straight years usually isn't doing that by accident. Something about serious itself is the part he's avoiding. Not the women, not the specific relationships, the depth. And the show gives him just enough real romantic interest and just enough real charm that it's easy to miss how consistently he steers every single one of them away from anything that might actually last.
What are you doing here?
I came to give you this and this.
Ow, big ring.
Why did you have to fill your father's head with all that garbage about making things right?
The show doesn't spend much time on Joey's childhood, but what little it shows says more than it seems to. Joey's dad has a long affair that the whole family, including Joey's mom, quietly knows about and just doesn't bring up. It's an open secret, something everyone works around instead of dealing with, and Joey grows up right in the middle of it, with the show never really commenting on what that might have taught him. His sisters seem to know too. Nobody in the family treats it as a crisis. It's just a fact of life they've all agreed to live around.
I just wanted to put a nice memory in your head so you'd know that I wasn't always such a terrible guy.
But it's not hard to connect that to how Joey treats commitment himself. If the one long-term relationship he grew up watching was built on a quiet workaround instead of any real honesty, it makes sense he never really trusted that serious relationships hold up under real pressure. Why build towards something serious if the only long-term example he ever saw turned out to be something everyone was just quietly pretending was fine? A kid who grows up watching adults maintain that kind of arrangement doesn't necessarily learn that love fails. He learns something quieter and maybe more damaging. That long-term commitment is mostly a performance people keep up for everyone else's benefit, not something that's actually as solid as it looks from the outside.
You know what I want? I want a lot of things. I want to be with the woman I love on Valentine's Day. And I want her to love me back. And I want just one moment of relief from the gut-wrenching pain of knowing that that's never going to happen.
That reframes Joey's constant, casual dating as less about not growing up and more about a reasonable reaction to the only example he was ever given. He's not failing to grow up. He's avoiding a version of adulthood that, as far as he's seen it, doesn't actually deliver what it promises. Staying single and uncommitted might look like arrested development from the outside. From the inside, it might just look like the only honest option available, given what commitment actually turned out to mean in the one home he had to learn it from.
Seriously, good night.
Stop saying goodnight.
Okay.
Rachel is the clear exception to everything else in Joey's love life, and how the show handles it is almost more interesting than the relationship itself. For the first time in the whole series, Joey has real feelings for someone slowly, uncomfortably, in a way he can't just joke or charm his way past. It builds over time instead of showing up fully formed the way his other relationships usually do, which is itself unusual for him. Most of Joey's romances start fast and end just as fast. This one takes its time, which seems to be exactly what throws him off.
Well, just because it happened that way for them doesn't mean it has to happen that way for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because something's difficult doesn't mean that you quit.
Right, totally.
Yeah. So we just keep trying and trying until we do it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, then we'll just be one of those couples that never has sex.
That's a plan.
Watch how different he is here compared to every other relationship he's had. He hesitates. He second-guesses himself. He tries more than once to talk himself out of it completely, specifically because it isn't acting like the low-stakes pattern he's used to. At one point, he even tries to just tell Ross how he feels, half hoping it'll resolve the tension by getting it out in the open, which is not remotely how he's handled anything with anyone else across the whole show. This is the one time we see Joey actually scared of a relationship instead of just casually not that into one, and the fear reads as a lot more real than anything in his usual dating episodes.
Yes. I like Rachel.
Rachel?
Yeah, okay, but hey, you know who else I like? You. And it doesn't get said enough. I like you, Ross.
What the show does next says a lot about what it's actually willing to do with him. Instead of letting this go anywhere real, the whole storyline wraps up fast, almost rushed, so the group can go back to normal before the finale. Rachel gets pulled back toward Ross, the show's actual endgame couple, and Joey's feelings mostly just fade out of the story without much closure given to them directly. It's hard not to notice that the show does the exact same thing Joey usually does, get close enough to something real, then pull back before it has to actually go anywhere. Even the writers, it seems, weren't sure what to do with a version of Joey who wanted something to actually last. By the time Friends wraps up, everyone else has landed somewhere. Ross and Rachel get their ending. Monica and Chandler start a family. Phoebe gets married. Joey is the only one of the six who ends up right where he started. Single, on his own, moving into a new apartment alone while everyone else pairs off around him. He even gets his own short-lived spin-off built around exactly this. A guy on his own, starting over in a new city, which only underlines how completely the show settled on solitude as his natural state. The show plays this gently, almost warmly, like a fresh start for him. But think about what it actually means that the one character built entirely around keeping things low stakes is also the one the show can't figure out how to give a real ending to. Every other friend's story wraps up through connection. Joey's wraps up through being alone, which is either a coincidence or more likely the show quietly admitting it never found a way through the exact pattern it spent 10 years building into him. It's easier to send him off with a smile and a moving truck than to actually make him sit still long enough to risk something. Worth asking what an actual ending for Joey would have even taken. Not another girlfriend, he's had plenty, and none of them changed anything. It would have taken him letting one go on long enough to actually risk losing it. The one thing his whole personality was built to avoid in the first place. The show never asks that of him. It just leaves him exactly as he was, dressed up like an ending, when really it's just the same pattern continuing off-screen, outside the frame of the show, where nobody has to watch whether it ever actually changes. Joey spends 10 seasons being the guy everyone assumes has it easiest with love. Plenty of options, no real heartbreak, nothing serious enough to leave a mark. Maybe that was never actually easy. Maybe it was the cost of making sure nothing ever got close enough to matter enough to hurt. He got to skip the pain that comes with real closeness. He also never really got what closeness is supposed to lead to, and the show ends without ever quite saying those two things are actually the same thing, just seen from a different angle.